And we're live. Go ahead.
What's going on, everybody? Super MetaBros episode Trace coming at you live on the YouTube. What's going on, Sheep?
Not much. Just excited to be here. How about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. A little tired. Long day.
Yeah, I hear you. So what's new in the gaming world this week?
This week, we got Fortnite's playground mode. You want to talk about that first?
That's I'm really excited about that. That's gonna be finally a chance for me as a terrible, terrible Fortnite player. I like to call myself the WOT, worst of all time. Um, I'm really really bad at Fortnite, and my biggest problem is that I don't have time to learn in a stress-free environment. It's always every time I try to do something, I'm trying to I say, I'm gonna jump in this map this time, and I'm gonna do nothing but build. I don't care about anybody else. I'm not gonna jump in any fights or anything like that. I'm just gonna build and practice and learn building a little bit better. And every time I go in with that mindset, I try and I say that's all I'm gonna do. But it ends up happening is I go in and I start with that mindset. I start chopping down good materials, and then I see something shiny, and I'll run off to it, and then it's all over from there. The whole beginning game plan is ruined. So with the playground mode, you get a full hour, kind of danger free. If you get killed, you respawn unless you get killed by the circle, which doesn't happen until the last 10 minutes of the hour. So you got that whole hour where you can just build, shoot, play, do whatever you want, learn the mechanics, really fine tune and learn new controller schemes like the build pro mode and stuff like that. You can really learn and try to figure it all out without all the added stress of every 2 seconds, getting one shotted from across the map. So you're have to load in again, and then you just quit because I get tired of trying to learn and then getting killed. I'm like, hey man, can't you tell I'm trying to figure this shit out here? But they don't care. They're trying to win too. So I understand that playground mode was definitely necessary.
I used to have that same problem with PUBG, dude. When it first came out, March of last year, dude. Man, I was just getting my ass stomped because I didn't really know how to play, and there's no way to learn how to play unless you get into a match. So it's kind of daunting sort of experience.
I think playground mode will definitely be good for those people who tried it and it was so annoyingly frustrating that every time they tried, they just got killed almost immediately. I think it'll be a good way for them to learn and not have to deal with that frustration.
One could argue, though, that just thrown in the shit is the best way to learn.
For some, but not everybody learns the same way.
Right.
That's how I learned.
Yeah, it's how most of the people who are still playing Fortnite did learn, because most of the people who jumped in and kept getting killed right off the bat and didn't get any better right off the bat, and they didn't figure out that learning curve like me. I didn't figure that out, but I'm still playing because I have friends who play, and I don't care that I'm crap. I play games for fun. I don't do the stress part.
I haven't played it in like fucking 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, I played it yesterday, and I'm doing better, but like when somebody starts shooting at me, everybody's like, "You got to build, man. You got to build." I'm like, "I know I got to build. That's what I'm supposed to do. I know how to build, but once somebody starts shooting me, all that shit goes out the window. It's like, oh shit, and I panic, and I panic a lot of bit. I don't because I try to start building and I start throwing up all the pieces and I can't get it right. I'm throwing rooftops and everything else. It just gets nuts and it's insane. It's funny to watch, really.
I quit playing fucking. I shit you not, man. Like on the, I had the battle pass.
Yeah.
And I am like 4 or 5 weeks behind on it and I haven't done any of them in like 4 or 5 because I haven't played it. Like I don't know. It's a shooter, so ever since like Call of Duty Black Ops 3, I'll play a shooter for a little bit and then I just get bored with it and I quit playing. Just because it's the same thing.
The thing that keeps Fortnite going and fun is the squads. It's not really any fun to me, and I've played a lot of solo games, but mostly just to get objectives and stuff. But I played 20 times as many squad games as I played solo games.
It's
It's
mostly the
because yeah, every game's different when you're with even with you're with the same three people. Every game's different, and it's a lot better atmosphere if you have three solid squad members to always play with or something like that. It doesn't even have to be solid squad members because I'm garbage and they know it, but we have fun and that's all that matters.
and like it works on like communication building, like teamwork building, I guess. Because when you see somebody out in the distance, you have a 360-degree compass on you. You can call out the degree of their location. What I normally do is I call out the degree, landmark, a distance. I think that's about it.
Yeah, just
I just
I'd just call out numbers, yeah, and then
yeah, we're
I
just
panic on that too. I'm like, he's coming from the up there, the behind the on top of the south. No, no, north. I get bad at that too. I panic.
100 meters. It's pretty fun though. I thought the biggest
let's
thing
see.
are the content updates. It's just so
Yeah.
consistent. Fast.
Well, they have the L.A. Noir. I think is what they added this week.
Yeah, like an idiot, I bought it.
No, LA Noir is free.
No,
No.
it's the L.A. Noir
New
like
skin.
detective. That's detectives
Oh,
and shit.
dude. You kind of have my
Yeah, it's a new skin. It's a detective type deal. The Dick Tracy-esque trench coat and
yellow
hat and
Yeah.
Well, they got the yellow one, they got a black one, and they got one with a chick version. And like the pickaxe is a big magnifying glass, and the glider is my favorite part. The glider is a freaking like 1930s, 1940s car. Like when you're going forward, like it runs, like you hear a motor, and when you back up, it stops and it just idles. You can hear like the clinking of a motor. It's really neat. It's probably my favorite glider so far. Maybe the only ones close would be the big freaking Valentine's Day bear or the dragon, which I have those too. So I can't help it. I've spent more on freaking Fortnite than I have on any game I have, and I'm trash at Fortnite.
Oh shit. What's on here? In other news, I got Sony, Sean Layton, head of Sony or whatever. Oh, I forgot his title. He says they're listening on the whole crossplay issue. So I mean, they've said this before. I think they might actually pull through with something, seeing as how Nintendo and Microsoft are ganging up on them. It's gonna cost them credit. Because they acknowledge that it's not only Fortnite. There's a lot of games that adding crossplay could apply to. So, and what's people behind Rocket League, Psyonix? All you got to do is flip a switch, and it's ready. Like they already have it wired up to go. Sony has just to give. They just have to give the okay, basically. Oh, dude, you're muted. Mute your shit. Fucking amateur hour here.
I know. Yeah, that's definitely something that needed to be addressed and soon. I think they're a little too late. It'll happen, but yeah, they're going to have to pay for it. It's going to cost
Oh,
them.
dude. During the PS3 360 era, Sony tried doing crossplay. Microsoft wasn't budging.
Yeah, I seem to recall something like that.
Yeah, like the tables will sort of turn right now. Sony's doing all really successful, just like Microsoft was, and they're just sort of turning their nose on everyone, which is really hurting their image, if anything.
Yeah, you can't. You've got. It's a new kind. It's the day and age right now is like this kind of. Well, it's not really Android and iOS is doing it. It crosses a lot of. But I mean, you can play those games across. A lot of those are cross-play. They're able to make that happen. But there are a lot of Android exclusives and a lot of iTunes, Apple exclusives. So I mean, I guess it's pretty much dominant everywhere, but it's becoming that type of world where everybody wants everything connected. And This
I'm
this
curious to see what
what's
the changes though.
Yeah, I'm annoyed more than anything how everything is competing with each other because not only have you got, the iPhone and Android competing with each other, now you've got the Alexas and the iHomes and all that competing with each other, and the TV services, Netflix and Hulu. So now it's all becoming one big war, and you're going to have to choose sides. You're going to have to choose, do I want to pick this
That's the
company that has this shows, these shows, and these shows? You're not going to get to be able to watch all your favorite stuff because half of everything that everybody's watching is either going to be on one side or the other. On the Google or the Amazon side, the Disney or the whatever side.
Disney's taking over the world. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, Disney. They're too busy doing that right now.
They're up there. The Marvel stuff's enough.
They're taking over the world, bro. They're buying everything.
Yeah.
They're just like, well, we're just gonna put it all in one place.
Competition breeds innovation, though, man. Like that's why I love that Sony and Microsoft are competing because it allows Sony to really like get these really talented people under their belt to make these really badass games. If the PS3 wasn't failing, I don't think we would have had the Uncharted at the scope it was, or Uncharted 2 or whatever. Even The Last of Us, like those are very prominent, like very good games.
Yeah,
Say the
there does need to be competition, and I mean that bleeds into the Google entering the fray. What's the thing supposed to be called? The code name?
Oh, I didn't even look in on that. I just saw the headline. Check it
Oh
out.
yeah, they've got a code name for it and everything. It's supposed to be like a four-pronged thing. There's going to be a hardware component. Uh, it's not Nexus. I can't remember what it is, and I can't really look it up. I don't want to mess up the bandwidth here. It's a four-pronged thing. They're going to have a hardware-based component. They're going to have a streaming-based
Yeti.
platform, similar to like the Amazon Fire thing. They're going to have they're trying to reach out and create an in-house development team as well as reach out to current developers and stuff like that. And they're going to try to make acquisitions, bring in. They're going to try to make big, high-profile acquisitions, like because they were in charge of the Pokemon Go. The Niantic is a Google studio. So that was their first hit. So they're using that to kind of trail off. They're going to keep going with mobile games. They're going to go with some type of console to compete with the PS5 and the next box. So we'll see what that is. And then I don't know. I mean, is it too many consoles? Is there too many options when you have another console with another set of exclusives that if you don't have the Google thing, you can't play? I mean, that's already a stretch for me to think, owning a PlayStation and an Xbox One is like,
It's hard to say.
yeah, that's pretty crappy that you have to do that for 2 or 3 extra games. If crossplay is the thing and everybody just picks the console that they like and that's where the war is and who's got the better console, that's fun. That's fine. We can have those type of arguments all day, but when it's a crossplay argument, it should all be you should all be working together. It's all for a common goal. If your console works as good as the next console, somebody's gonna buy it, but just because they like your platform better. I mean, you're going to make money, but you're not going to make all the money because nobody needs to make all the money. That's what the competition's for.
All about the games, though, man. That's where Sony's fucking killing it.
Yeah.
That's why
Right.
I really like how Microsoft announced all of those studios at E3. I think that's very important to note, simply because they need it. If there's one thing that Xbox needs, is more developers.
Yeah, but is that going to mean more exclusives?
Oh yeah, because they bought those studios. They're making
Exactly. I mean, that means that games that might have been available to the world as a whole just got snatched out from under them. You know, that's good news for Xbox people, but it's not necessarily good news for anybody else in the gaming world because they might not get to play any of those games that Xbox just bought out. And, you
No,
know,
but
there could be some really good titles that people are used to on other platforms and they're going to miss
those
if they
titles,
don't go cross.
those studios may not have been able to do those titles unless they got picked up by Xbox, though.
Yeah, true.
I mean, because Microsoft's got the budget, they can fund the studios for fucking years if their game is, their game is right.
I just don't really care about the idea of exclusive. It's grating to me that, you know, but for, you know, a handful of other games is the whole reason you should buy another service. You know, it's a tough call for me.
It is. I mean, there's that, and you have to really decide where your friends are playing also. Like, those are the two biggest factors. What the games you want to play, and what your friends are playing. There's probably going to be one playing with. The Xbox might go. They might offer console-wide mod support. Let me see. You know they had mods for Fallout and Skyrim, and even PlayStation.
Well, yeah.
Well,
PlayStation only didn't let them bring in outside resources like Xbox did, and that was the big deal on why Fallout and Skyrim and stuff is supposedly better on Xbox than on PlayStation 4 is because the amount of modding you could do was substantially increased on the Xbox, and I hope that Sony does something about that, but I don't think they will.
No, I don't think they will either. They're too protective, which I get. I mean, that I can totally understand, but they're gonna have to do something about that. I think.
Yeah, the whole thing. That's what makes the great video gamers and game programmers was the ones who could take it all apart and build something new with it.
Sorry. Oh, my bad.
Okay. So yeah, it's like Ultima Online, you know, when the developers got greedy and started making it really, really expensive and started not supporting it as much. The community came and built a whole new way to play it. They built their own shards, took the game code, rewrote stuff, just created their whole worlds so that people could jump in and still play, and this time for free. Yeah, and it's basically it's a concept that's been used since in multiple, you know, games. They've taken over a dead game and create their own servers and their own dedicated, you know, systems to run these services for other gamers. I ran a shard on Ultima Online for about a year. And the one I play on now is a free one that's been running for about 8 years, just run by fans and the community and the players are what keep it going and what make it happen. And that's an integral part of video gaming. History, especially, is the ones who program their own games and were able to take it. I mean, these mod developers should be able to do whatever they want within these worlds if they're going to open up that for a possibility. I mean, it's a first in gameplay. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, I think a little bit, you know. But those early consoles, you couldn't really do much modding at all. But one thing, you know, kind of reminds me of is like the GameCubes, how they could be modded to pretty much play anything now. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, dude. If you know how to
you could hack the GameCubes to just be amazing.
What were your guys' favorite mods? Just speaking generally here on any game.
Well, you know, I forgot, you know, speaking of that, you know, we had the Game Sharks on PlayStation and everything on the Super Nintendo and the Game Sharks Pro Action Replay, you know, all that stuff. So mods have really been around forever because that's all that those were, in essence, were mod packs. So, I mean, it's hard to call out a favorite, because I've actually, when I ran my own servers and stuff like that, I actually that was the whole thing was a mod, and I made it myself. So I'd say I'm partial to those, but
I'd say that's one major thing that we've lost in these past couple generations, or mod support, like the Game Shark and whatnot,
mhm,
because those really added to the experience of whatever you're playing. I mean, they really did.
yeah, you could
They weren't
play it,
good.
and if it gave you a hard time, you could go back and Game Shark the hell out of it. If a game was too hard for you to beat, or after you'd beat a game and you were kind of bored with it, you could go back through and just be God.
Yeah.
Nothing beats it.
Um, let's see. I haven't really done my fair share of modding. I modded Minecraft. I put Pokemon in it. Didn't really work that well. Um, I put Pokemon in Skyrim. There's a lot of Pokemon mods out there that I really like.
Yours
I'm
are all
waiting.
seem to revolve around Pokemon.
I'm waiting on Skyrim. What is it? Not Evolved. Beyond. I think they're building all of Oblivion, Skyrim.
Oh wow, that would be crazy.
Yeah, and it's come really far in development. It should be out fairly soon, I
On
think.
consoles or PC?
Yeah, probably only on PC.
Yeah, I imagine. That's definitely
Yeah.
one of the reasons I'm definitely trying to look into a gaming PC. Probably around, I don't know, income tax time. So hopefully I'll be able to dive into that world. My little crappy computer could definitely not handle any type of game. I don't even think it could play The Sims.
I played Overwatch over the weekend. Let's get into what we're playing, man, because I've been playing a lot of shit. I started God of
Uh, Go ahead. You started God of War?
I played like an hour of it. It was fucking badass. I haven't been back to it since. Like a couple days afterwards, I got right back into Dark Souls, and I've just been just fucking hammering motherfuckers in Dark Souls. Um,
You in that game, man.
it's fucking fun, dude. Like it reminds me of old school games, dude. Like it just throws you in there. It gives you very fucking vague instructions on what to do. You're just supposed to basically find your own way, and like you'll kind of know which direction it is, based on how strong the enemies are and how fast you can kill them. And the combat's fucking great, dude. You're holding L2 to hold up your shields. When you let go of L2, it puts down your shield. R2 is fucking swing your sword. R1 is soft hit. R2 is a heavy hit. It plays so fucking well. I think it's really streamlined the sword and shield combat. Just everywhere you look now. God of War is very similar to it, except for you gotta double tap X to roll, which works good. I mean, I admit I kind of like it.
Well,
Then
once
I
you
got
get the combos and stuff down there, you don't have to do nowhere near as much rolling in God of War.
Yeah, I think that's what's missing because right now combat's just not that fluid in God of War. But I think once you have more combos to work with, that's really what the combat was meant.
Well, you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
do combos. You just gotta learn to even with just the axe. When the axe and the fist, you just gotta learn to mix the fist and the axe together. But that just comes with playing. I like it because there isn't that much rolling. I don't like a game where all I gotta do is do all the rolling just to avoid victim being hit. Like that's what Conan's about, actually. Like you got a sword and shield. You can block with a shield. They got a bunch of different weapons that don't require a shield, of course. Like you got two-handed swords and axes and bow and arrows and daggers and things like that. But it's the same thing. You just hold the shield and you attack with one. You attack with the one's strong attack, one's light attack. You can roll, and
Dude,
depending on the armor.
you can two-hand any weapon in Dark Souls, even the fucking dagger. You just walk around just going, pow, pow. It's fucking awesome.
Well,
dude.
I like all the weapons in this game have a different type of use, basically. Like if you come across an enemy that can stagger, if you use like a two-handed weapon, you can stagger them. You're like the daggers, like it's like basically like you're a rogue, I guess you'd say. In most games, it would be considered the rogue, the two-handed weapon. You can cause bleed. You got cripple. You got sunder. Uh, and then you got the tridents that I literally have one of those like fucking Poseidon's trident and shit. And those things you poke him a bunch of times and he does a swing attack and knocks them on their ass. It's pretty crazy, man. Then you could add, of course you can add like poisons to it, and then you got these little fire orbs and explosives and things you can use instead of anything. You got bow and arrows.
Everything's super convoluted in Dark Souls. Like right now, I have an enchanted battle axe, but like, you can only do certain things to weapons. You can't. It's not really as expansive as what you just listed, but like you have to find a certain blacksmith that can do it. It's really fucking complicated.
Well,
that's every fucking thing.
Well, that's the way on here. Like, to get, like, you got the normal versions that you can create, and then when you get your thrall, which is your slave, and if you get like a high tier one, you can, you get to the level where you can create high tier blacksmith stations. You can create flawless and exceptional versions of that weapon, which are stronger, and then you can mod them. And so on and so forth. But you have to know that type of weapon before you can even create that weapon. You could find them by killing like NPCs and things like that, or other people. But if you want to create them, you have to actually learn it. Because like I said, it's just all it is a survival game.
Right. Would you play?
Well, I've been playing the same stuff that I had been playing. WWE 2K18 and
yeah,
Fortnite,
I seen that last night.
Most recently. yeah, Rex is in the stream. He'll be making his debut probably next week when we have those shows come on. But yeah, those do well for me, and that's generally what I'm able to find the time to play. But I just recently installed Fallout 4 on my second PS4, the one in here in the game room. So I'll probably be starting to play it again. I did bring my save files over from the beginning. I like to go through I don't like to go through the character creation part again. So I always save a guy and a girl right after the intro vault where you first come out into the world. I always make a save file right then so I can just start fresh. You can always go change the names and stuff later. If I've seen the intro once, I'm done. I don't want to see it again. I don't want to go through the growing up thing and all the little mini crap they put you through for 45 minutes of BS. So I create a save file, and so I can just jump right in whenever I'm ready to go. And I think I got the idea this time that I want to go through and just build the settlements up as I encounter them one by one, as good as I can get them, and then just create like the perfect supply line. Yeah, I have all the settlements on one save, and I've got amazing, giant settlements built up. Some there's just a tower, and then a straight up tower going up, and then it's a whole thing in the sky, big sky towers, and just things that can't possibly be real physically, but look really cool. And I've got tons of. That's what I want to do. I want to build up each settlement as I come across it. I'll probably use mods to get the unlimited resources and stuff like that. But as I encounter each settlement, build it up, turn it into the thing that it's supposed to be, and then go out and venture from that settlement to my next destination. And as I encounter another settlement,
set up that supply line so you can get all the resources from that other place.
Exactly, and make it just go from one to the other and build them all up as they go. And try to make the perfect little supply route there. Well, they all end up in a perfect circle and all that kind of stuff.
Well, the funny thing is on the DLC, or you can become basically like the leader of the Raiders.
The Raider, I haven't done. That's the only DLC I haven't done. I have it. I need to go through and do it.
Well, you can, after you do that, because it's like a whole new area, of course, but you can go back to the Commonwealth and make those Raider camps instead of Raider settlements instead of actual settlements. And
you can raid your own camps.
Yeah, and take it over and make it a Raider settlement and shit.
Yeah, and it's like part of the thing. One of the things you have to do to get the trophies.
Yeah, I platinum the actual game. I haven't platinum the DLC or nothing, but I platinum the game.
I platinum the game too. I've only got the Raider thing to go through to get the platinum. You don't get a platinum for the DLC, I don't believe.
No. You know, it'll just say you got 100% on everything.
Yeah, I don't get that. I'm like at 94%, 98%, something like that. 'Cause all I've got is the Raider stuff to go through.
I like
So
that
I
they
need to
added
do that.
the I like that they added the like the workshop things where you can have your people create ammo for you and shit.
Yeah, but they weren't very efficient.
Yeah,
And
if you
you had to actually go put like metal. You had to put the supplies in it to make it. So I was like,
yeah.
if they went and got the scrap metal and they put it in there and they fed it and they were making ammo and they did all that shit autonomously, there was nothing from me. Then that would have been amazing. Uh, even if they just dropped a little bit at a time, you'd have a constant supply of whatever type of ammo because you have, one settler gathering up the scrap, another settler bringing it to the thing, dropping it in, and another collecting it or whatever. It would take,
There's a
multiple settlers. But I see how it could work.
there's one mod in particular that it's not you don't even need like the technically you don't need like the infinite resources or nothing. It adds like a little bunker right outside that first house that all the settlers stay in basically when you first get to Sanctuary. Uh, there's a right next to the workbench. There's a bunker you can go into, and there's chests everywhere. Everything in the game are in all these chests. And there's this button and when you click the button, it just respawns. It refills the chest every time you push it. Everything in the game are in these chests. Meds, supplies, just junk, weapons, everything.
Right. So it's kind of like those chests in Skyrim, the hidden ones, like that are underground.
Yeah, just the only difference is they have like these buttons that you can click, and it'll just refill them after you emptied them.
Yeah, that's crazy. I took advantage of that. I still can't help but take. I don't feel like it's cheating. It's there.
Yeah. Well, I
It's
beat
not like
it.
I
You
had to
know,
put
I
in a
beat it
code.
before. I beat it before the mods came out. So now it's just like I like to mess around with the mods and see what I can do.
Well, no, I'm talking about the chests in Skyrim.
Oh yeah, the ones underneath the map and shit.
I always go to the one in the place Dawnstar.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
one that takes all the Khajiit weapons,
yeah,
all the stuff they're
yeah.
selling. You can.
The stuff from the traveling merchants, and that's what they all are. They're all from that. There's one in Whiterun that's the same thing.
There's
It's
like four underneath. There's
the
four
Khajiit
underneath one
caravan.
of them.
But yeah, I go to that one every time. I still do. I can't help it. I mean, I'm like, man, I need money to get my house, bro. Where could I get? Oh,
I could just take this
oh.
and sell it back to them.
I don't have to grind or break into a million houses or do anything special to get all this money to get this house. I can just buy this house, and I feel like that's acceptable. I don't feel like that's cheating.
They should have hit it better.
No, I'm in this game. I'm gonna say I might be most of the time good, but I could be a thief. I just found out where the Khajiits are hiding their chests, and I dug it up. Can't help that. It's
Yeah,
storyline. It's canon.
yeah. I did this. I do the same thing. I always go to that one too.
Yeah, that's how I get my stuff, man. But I don't really. I've played through Skyrim so many times that when you've already beat it so much, why not? You've earned the right to do whatever the hell you want. You got to play through a game once seriously and with intent, and then you can just destroy it or just
Yeah,
goof
right,
off and have fun. That's the way I look at it. You got to play it one time for real, seriously.
um, I forgot another thing I've been playing is this damn Super Nintendo Classic. I dig it. I really dig it. I like the I like the rewind feature, the save state feature.
I like the flash save.
Yeah, exactly. Because then, like, you can
Yeah.
just rewind it, and it's
If you're
like
on
you
a
didn't
tough
even.
boss, you can save it right before. And if it's one of those games where you don't beat the boss, you got to start over somewhere. You could just
Yep.
go right back to it. It's pretty good for like Zelda and stuff like that. Or Mario, you're about to go fight Bowser. You might want to save that real quick.
so fucking like. I'm used to it with emulators though, but it's
Yeah,
such.
I am. I've played so many emulators, especially on my phone. Got tons of emulators on my phone, and it's just I'm really used to spoiled on the fast forward feature on emulators,
Especially on
and
Final Fantasy. Yeah.
I wish there was a fast forward feature on this, man. I missed that. But I guess it wouldn't feel as realistic if it had a fast forward feature. It does feel pretty true to life with the controller. The console size itself was a little bit of a bummer to me. I was like, this little thing, I
Yeah,
mean,
makes it feel kind of cheap.
yeah, because initially I thought when I heard they were coming out, I thought it had the games programmed in it, and you could put cartridges in from the old games. I thought you could actually play them. I was like, man, that's going to be amazing. I can't wait. And then I got it, and I was like, oh, that's neat.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
So I've got it and it's fun. I wish it could do more. And the games are pretty good. It's got a pretty decent selection of classic games, but some of my favorites are missing. Arkanoid. Paperboy 2. There's a lot of RPGs that are missing.
Yep.
Where's Chrono Trigger?
Yep.
Where's all those? It's got one of the Final Fantasies, doesn't it? Final Fantasy 3,
Yeah,
5,
three was the best
3.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got a Final Fantasy in there. It's got Mario RPG. It's got the classic Super Mario. It's got Zelda Link to the
You ever
Past.
play Earthbound?
Earthbound. Yeah, I saw it. And I played a little bit. I played every game that was on it when I got it out, even the ones that I didn't really
Dude,
experience it.
Earthbound's the fucking shit, dude. Like, if you like
What?
Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy, Earthbound is the fucking shit.
But where's that? The fighting games. What was the one where you had where the animal characters? There was like a rabbit and a cheetah and a. It was like a
Uh,
Street Fighter, but they were animals. Animal Raid, Primal Rage, something like that. I can't remember. That was fun, and you had all those. There were so many fun games that I remember as a kid. That I feel like even with the size it was, and with today's technology, they could have fit 200 games on there,
yeah,
and they probably had the licenses and the rights to all of them, and it wouldn't have cost anything extra. Or they could have added like an expansion option, like put a slot for an SD card to go in there,
that's
or
what I was thinking.
their own custom memory card slot cartridge thing that they could just plug in there, and it had an extra 30 games you could buy for another $20 or something. I would do that if there were 20 games on a little chip I could plug into it for $20. Fuck yeah.
All they would have to do is open the cartridge slot and then release a second volume cartridge. That
Yeah,
would have
make
been
a new size, that only works for this thing, so that they can't, put, their own modded things on an SD card or something like that. They don't got to use a universal format. Come up with their own new cartridge for these little things and let people play the old games. It's obviously in demand. These things sell out as soon as they hit the shelves. You would think they would jump on this cash cow.
oh my gosh. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Where you at, guys? My bad, it's amateur hour here. Anyway, I've just been mostly playing Earthbound on it, dude. Earthbound's the shit.
I'll have to give that a whirl. I'll check it
Yeah,
out. I
it's
looked at it a little bit when I played, but I didn't really get into it, I don't think.
it's really different, man. It's really offbeat, but like the writing is really good. I feel the writing is good, and like you might have to look up a guide because it might be just a little convoluted, but it's really good. I'm wanting to play it all
It
day,
is
honestly.
it's got a lot of really good stuff on it. It's got the Contra, it's got Punch Out, it's got Metroid, uh, Ghouls and Ghosts, Castlevania, Street Fighter, Star Fox, Mega Man. It's got all the classics, but it's those. The classics weren't always my favorite games. My favorite games were always little obscure Clay Fighter, little obscure games that a lot of people might not remember, but I do. There were some RTS games on Super NES that I think I somewhat enjoyed. I can't remember what the. I think there was a Dune game or um, some kind of simulator, real time strategy war type thing.
Yeah.
That was really good, but I can't remember what it was. It's been so long. So, but yeah, that's definitely something I think should happen.
Like, where the fuck is
More retro games. Where's what?
where's Super Mario All Stars?
All right.
I mean, that was basically every single Mario game. Almost every single one. Just in one package. They could have just slapped that on there. I see what you mean. I mean, I really do. Uh, I feel like between Yoshi's Island, Final Fantasy 3, Earthbound, Super Mario World, uh, A Link to the Past, the absolute best Zelda game ever. I think I'll get more than my money's worth.
Yeah, you're right about Link to the Past. Definitely the best Zelda game ever.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I remember this Earthbound game. Like I couldn't get past like the first. I couldn't figure out how to get to the little spaceship crash or whatever. So I gave up. But I'll definitely give it more.
You hit the dead end, you just got to go home. There's no way to get through there.
Oh really? You have to just go home and go back to bed or something?
Yeah, and then some shit happens. Dude, I highly recommend it though. I played a lot of it on an emulator, but I was a dumbass and lost my save. I got really far. It's very good. It's one of those games where you feel like the grind is worth just whooping everyone's ass and just fucking running through everything, getting to the story.
Gotcha. I'll check it out. Seems like something interesting to get into. I love retro games and I like RPGs. So, and initially from just the looks of it and the graphics, it seems interesting.
It's
So maybe
very
a little Stranger Things ish maybe.
yeah. Like it's very lighthearted, but there's something sort of twisted about it at the same
Yeah.
time.
So Stranger Things, the game, it already happened, guys.
Yep, fucking Telltale. Fucking Telltale's making it happen again.
Are they?
Yeah, you didn't hear about. I thought that's what you were referencing.
Oh.
Yeah, Telltale, the people who make the dumb story games that I
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
they're making a Stranger Things in that sort of
You like
fashion.
that? You like the Telltale games?
Hell yeah, dude. We played the Awesome Adventures of whatever the fuck his name is, Awesome Man.
Yeah.
Really good. It's gonna be a really sad story though.
Why didn't you stream it?
I didn't think anyone was interested in that shit.
Well,
I
maybe
mean,
they are.
it was me and my wife playing it because she absolutely loves those games, and it's the prequel to Life is Strange 2, which is coming out in September. We just got news of.
Yeah, I downloaded it. I mean, I played the game. They're platinum trophies, or they're easy to get platinums. I'll give it that.
Oh yeah, Telltale games especially. Life is Strange is a little bit. I mean, it wouldn't be hard to get platinum now that I think about it.
I played the Game of Thrones one, and I played the first couple bits of the Borderlands one, and I played some of the Walking Dead ones. So I mean, they're okay. It's just they're not very involved, and they're on rails pretty much. It's a choose your own adventure. It's those books we had in school. The turn. It's one of those, So I get it. Sometimes I play them if it's something that it's about a content that I really like, a franchise or like they did, a Marvel one. I'd be like, oh, but
Did you beat the Game of Thrones one? I think you're cutting out a little bit, man. Hold on. Hey. Okay, you're back. Sorry, you
Oh,
cut out just a little bit.
yeah, that was a little bit weird there. I see it now. The whole camera on the stream was frozen. But
Did you beat Game of Thrones?
I did. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Got the platinum trophy. It was okay. I don't really remember much. It wasn't very memorable.
I don't
Say
either. To
that.
be honest. No, I'm thinking about it. I know like the main plot beats, but I really don't remember just certain things. But there were a couple of moments that did have some sort of agency in them that made me kind of like
Well,
nervous.
the thing that got to me was a lot of times no matter what choice you make, because I went back through and I'd be like, no, this is BS. I don't want this to happen. And I'd go back through and I'd try, but no matter what you did, that person was going to die. Or, it was like you're going to, no matter what you did at the beginning, the little young kid gets stabbed.
Yeah.
He dies regardless of what choice you make. I was like, that's garbage. I want to maybe change an outcome or something here. But it's Game of Thrones. I understand. That's kind of the whole point of Game of Thrones. So they had to throw a little bit of that in there. Like, oh no, people are gonna die whether you want them to or not. Especially because you don't want them to, they're gonna die. So I'm like, I get it, but just I wanted to do better, man. I wanted to save some lives, man. Why they gotta die? Why they gotta kill the little boy?
Yeah, give the players some sort of control over the outcome. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
That might be what's making the second season so long because, I mean, second season was supposed to be out in 2017. I mean,
maybe
it came out, what, 2 years ago? 2 or 3? I don't even know.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, anything. By the time they release something on the PS Plus, it's been out for at least a year. So.
Yeah. They are upgrading engines though, graphics engines.
They're gonna upgrade the Cowboys too.
I don't know.
See what I did there?
Did I? I'm not sure.
They're upgrading the engines. Are they gonna upgrade the Cowboys too?
Oh, the engines. Oh, dude, this is like top tier comedy.
That is the best.
Yeah, I think that'll have a lot to do with their games getting a little better because I think the engine had a lot to do with their games being a little bit where it wouldn't really pull you in because you couldn't take a character seriously if his facial animations looked like a fucking mannequin clown.
Yeah, that's true. They should, if it's not that complicated, they're not that big of games. The controls aren't that big a deal, so mechanics aren't a big issue. Why can't it have amazing graphics?
Yeah, that's because they're using a 20-year-old engine basically. So
yeah.
I feel like the upgrade, it might facilitate to some better animations and player interaction.
Well, we've seen it with stuff like those other similar games. I guess the Life is Strange.
Dude, and, Detroit.
Yeah, and then there's what was the one with the people that were. It's like a group of guys and girls. It was like a horror story. The one that came out for free.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. Yeah.
I actually
really... that was. Yeah, it looked good. The graphics were good. It was interesting. It was longer. It seemed like the controls. I did feel like a lot of time you spent a little bit too much time wandering around with terrible camera angles and stuff like that. But other than that, the actual story was cool. You felt like it was really like a movie. So as opposed to the choose your own adventure type deal.
What I liked about it is it didn't take itself too seriously. It really played on the whole cheesy 80s horror flick aspect of everything. I feel like it worked very well for them. I don't even know what they're doing now, that team. I don't think they've done anything since Until Dawn.
No, well, I think they're doing like an Until Dawn 2 or something. That's wasn't there something like that at one of those E3 announcements or something?
Until Dawn, Rush of Blood. That was a VR game.
Oh, okay, yeah. See, they're doing something else. I mean, it's just not in the same vein. So we'll see. See how that goes.
I guess we shall. Oh, I guess. Have you heard of The Impatient?
No.
It was a VR horror game that came out uh, like last year during holidays, and I guess it's an Until Dawn prequel. I didn't realize it.
Oh, so maybe it's like the background story of the people and stuff.
It's about you talking with a therapist and stuff happens. I really don't even know. I didn't look that much into it. It looks cool though. I didn't even know it was Until Dawn related until now.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. Learn something every day. So what else we got? Any other news on the docket?
Let's see. No, I don't think so. I think we're good. On the news,
Let's see.
Ryan, we've been playing. You've been playing Conan still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing. I'm kind of doing it now. I got a situation probably about to happen in the next couple hours, so
That's
gotta
word.
worry about the purge, and if I'm not online, it can literally wipe all my shit. So I gotta
Right.
make sure I can defend against it.
Since this isn't, just all about games, I can say that been into finished Luke Cage season 2 recently. What? So dope.
Is it good? I heard it was.
I'm about halfway. I'm about halfway through it.
It's pretty good. I don't do spoilers. I don't give spoilers, but if you haven't seen it and you're not caught up on the rest of the Marvel stuff, man, you better get with the times because that's where it's going to be. I can't wait till it's all involved in the whole movie universe too. One day it's going to cross that threshold and you're going to see Luke Cage and all that in the, Avengers and stuff like that. Luke Cage with Daredevil, Heroes for Hire, running in on the Avengers and stuff.
I'm the most excited about the next season of Daredevil. That's what I'm waiting on. Which is going to be the last season, the last one of all the 4 shows.
Huh.
We'll see. We'll see about that. As
Well,
good as they've done.
they've already had the next season of Jessica Jones. Now Luke Cage. They're gonna. Well, I guarantee you, the next one will be Iron Fist, and then it'll be Daredevil season 3.
Yeah, but they're going to do a Punisher season 2.
Yeah, but he's not part of. He's part of that world, but he's not part of that group anymore. He's by himself.
They'll do
Those
more.
guys,
Watch. The demand's
like
going to be there, so they're going to do it.
he'll show up like if he's part of I'm ready for the Punisher next season. The Punisher because that first season was great.
Amazing.
But I'm waiting on the Daredevil one because I really like that the way that they're portraying Daredevil. And after the Defenders, they mentioned Luke Cage a bunch of times, and Jessica Jones. So far, they about what happened, and knowing that he's not dead. So it's just like
Yeah.
I want to see what it is how he comes back and and then after they finish that, of course they'll probably make another season of the Defenders where they're all teamed up again.
Yeah. That's probably going to be the gist of it. But I imagine, it's going to keep going. They'll keep going with this because it's probably going to make them a lot of money, and it probably has made them a lot of money. Even as bad as Iron Fist was critically, and it was a pretty bad series, I'll admit. It still got enough. It still did amazing in viewership, and uh, plenty of people saw
My
it. Plenty of people watched all of them.
my biggest problem with Iron Fist, the whole as a whole show, is he was supposed to, out of all 4 of the Defenders, you were led to believe that he was the best fighter out of all of them, and the fighting in that show sucked.
Well,
Really,
they gave
really
him
bad.
he had to learn most of his fight scenes that day. He didn't prepare,
Well, it
or
wasn't.
they didn't
It
have him.
wasn't. It wasn't that he couldn't the moves he was doing was one thing. I'm talking about like you could just tell it wasn't like real. Like when you watch Daredevil and stuff, like that hallway scene in the first season, that uncut. The whole thing was one continuous shot of him going down that hallway beating the shit out of all them guys.
Yeah, but
Like,
everybody holds the Marvel fights to that standard now. Oh well, the hallway scene was. I know the hallway scene was amazing. That was a great fight, and hasn't been a fight in the Netflix canon yet that's lived up to that hallway fight. But at the same time, I read a lot on the Iron Fist part, and when they brought him in, like he had no time to prepare for the Daredevil character. Like they gave him like 4 week training course. He learned and did all this stuff. But when they brought the guy over, Finn, from wherever he was doing, he had no time to prepare for those roles. That's why in the Defenders, his fight scenes are much much better. If you go back and watch his
oh,
fight
they
scenes
they
specifically.
were. It's just it's more of the
Crouching Tiger, Hidden
I
Dragon
would
stuff. I know what you're talking about.
I wouldn't say like unrealistic looking. It was the fact that like when you watch like Luke Cage or even Jessica Jones for one, like when they're fighting, it looks like they're actually hitting them. His never did, and I know damn well she has no fight experience whatsoever. But her fight scenes look better than his. Like,
Well, it's not also it's also that but
the
you can't
directors
really
as well.
the directors and the fight choreographers and the cinematographers, directors of
Yeah.
photography. There are a lot of things that could and did go wrong on that, but
Now
it,
the
it
backlash
wasn't.
it
I've
got
seen
for
worse
him.
stuff.
Oh, I've seen a lot of worse stuff, but
So
that was my biggest problem. Like the story wasn't too. I didn't mind the story, and things like his acting sometimes was a little bad.
yeah, I
But the
sit through
story
worse TV
as
shows all the time,
oh
and
yeah,
so I'm like, I was happy with it. I didn't think it deserved all the negativity it got, and
no, I mean
especially about the
I
characters.
enjoyed
They
it,
just went
but
with the comics, and there's two ways you can go about this. You can piss off the comic fans, or you can piss off the. It's got to include everything fans.
yeah. See, I don't really like. It's a lot of these. The problem I have with these TV shows, and I don't. It doesn't bother me that they're in there, like like all these ones on CW, like the Flash and Legends of Tomorrow, and things like that, which are are good. I like them. I like the Flash. I liked. I don't. I kind of fell off on Arrow. Supergirl's gotten a lot better um, than the first season was. But the problem that I have with these shows are, and it's not the fact that they're in there, like I said, is that they seem like they have to have gay people in them or have to have like this and that, like for appropriation when they don't
Yeah,
have to have it. And it's like
it feels
to
it
me, it
feels
feels like
forced. It feels
yeah,
forced.
and I
There,
don't
yeah,
like
I
that.
know.
It's
It
like
should feel
okay, we don't
natural. If
need
it's
it.
going to be in,
Yeah,
like, a perfect example of it not feeling forced was like a True Blood. There was a lot gay main characters, but it didn't feel forced. You felt like that was like the natural flow of those characters. It didn't just feel like they put it
yeah,
there because it had to be there. And with a lot of these shows, especially the drama shows, that's my problem with the superhero shows on the DC side. The Green Arrow, Flash, Legend of Tomorrow, they're all teen dramas.
yeah, yeah. Basically,
Um, Whereas the Marvel ones,
or adult
while
or adult
well,
oriented.
yeah, they are, but they still can be watched by teens and enjoyed by teens because they follow that same basic structure. Well, the Netflix ones,
Yeah,
yeah, definitely
it's
more
just
adult oriented. But
yeah,
like
it's
I'm
just
talking
more
about
of
the
a
lighter
dark.
hearted ones, like Agents of Shield or Cloak
Yeah,
Dagger or the Runaways, stuff like that was really lighthearted and stuff as well. But it doesn't come off super cheesy like the
no,
DC ones always come off as. Like they come off as soap operas to me. But like Runaways was a teen drama.
Yes,
but
because it's about teens.
it
It's literally about
it
teens.
it, it was literally about teenage kids, but it was better than Arrow, Flash, or any of those
Yeah.
because it was great storytelling, great characters. There was hardly any superpowers or anything highlighted throughout the whole thing. It was like little tiny glimpses of superpowers here and
Tidbits and
there.
shit.
The only like really out there thing in it was a fucking dinosaur, but
That
it was
the dinosaur in their basement climbing
yeah.
out. Yeah, that was the only thing that was like, what the fuck?
So
But I mean,
Marvel's got it. The only thing
yeah,
DC has really gotten right in my book is Gotham. They
yeah,
should
because
follow
it's
that
it's
formula.
dark. It's a darker version you know what I mean. It can be watched by teens and whatever, but it's a darker version of it. Everything doesn't have
Yeah,
to be punchline after punchline or they always have to have some kind of relationship drama. They don't always have to do that. They always do.
exactly. So yeah, that's why I don't. I feel like DC is more for teenagers and stuff like that.
That's one of the reasons why I like the on the one show on CW that I really like that I think they do really well is the 100.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of that on Netflix. I never really got a chance to get into it, but it did look interesting. Like that was about like a
Yeah.
hundred people who came back after being missing for like years and years. Was that it?
No, it's basically the world had ended like a
Yeah.
nuclear war, and they
Oh, and
were
then 100 people left to
no, it was
repopulate.
they sent people on the space station and they lived there for about 100 years. Well, they sent 100 kids that were considered criminals and juveniles to Earth to see if it's inhabitable. And they got there and shit just hit the fan. Like there were still people there. Shit's mutated.
Gotcha.
Like people in this show, people die. Like there's not everyone is always safe. Like the first couple seasons, man, they popping off main characters.
Yeah, it's a Game of Thrones ish type deal. I got you.
Yeah, like and they have their relationship dramas or whatever, but they're not like the key part of the show. Like it's more about the show is always like every season has always been about survival. That's all they're and trying to protect their people from another group of people.
So it's another, Walking Dead type deal where
Yeah,
they'll
it's
kill
just
main
more
characters. The
action.
relationships aren't, yeah. I get it. Walking Dead has definitely become slower paced over the years, but I still enjoy all the Walking Dead stuff. But I've always enjoyed those types of shows. Like I'm a big fan of Jeremiah and Jericho. Those are two of my
Hmm.
favorite shows of all time. Um, I just love shows like that, or like that Stephen King 8 hour fucking movie, The Stand.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so good, such good stuff, man. I love post-apocalyptic stuff. Not I do like Mad Max, but like not necessarily that stuff, but like the stuff where it's like about survival and like,
yeah.
you know,
You should check out the 100, man. Like this, it's actually
I
it gets
will.
like
I
the
think I
first season's good, but it gets better and better each as the
Yeah,
seasons
I
go on.
tend to give up a lot if these days of production value isn't like really good because
Yeah,
there's
they
so
treat
much
that
really good
show.
stuff out there.
Yeah, they treat that like I've seen like interviews and stuff of people of the guys who run CW and the TV and all that, and they treat the 100 different from any other show. They treat it like they're Game of Thrones, basically, is what he said.
Yeah,
Is it takes a while for the next season to come out, and it's only like 13, 14 episodes a season, but you can tell
makes
that
it
they
easy
put
to
value
watch.
into it. Yeah, they put value into it.
Okay, I'll look into that definitely, definitely.
Hey, Sheep, I noticed that
That's
you the Crunchyroll a couple weeks ago. You've been catching up on some My Hero or anything?
I got into it and I'm not into the show. I got into the Crunchyroll thing, got it all put up. The only room I can put it on is the room with my PlayStation on it. Well, I guess I could put it in here. But I don't usually use this TV over here that my PlayStation's on for watching TV. I have one up here, and it's got a DVD player with the built-in, Netflix and Hulu and stuff. But it didn't have the Crunchyroll stuff, so I can only watch it in the living room, and I don't spend very much time in the living room. So I haven't actually got to watch much yet, but I'm gonna try to. I mean, my plate's full all the time. Like I woke up and then I had to go run some errands, and then I have to do this. And right after this ends, wrestling starts. Right after wrestling ends, I've got streaming to do. So after that, it'll be time to go to bed and wake up and do it again. All 3 of my days off are filled up to the brim with stuff, and then I work 12 hours a day. I work for 11 hours and I get a lunch out, an hour lunch. So that's 12 hours of my day. The other 4 days that are completely taken.
Jesus.
So I can't watch TV yet. It's just so hard to fit that stuff in. But I'm done with Luke Cage. There's nothing really pressing on Hulu that I've got to catch up on. So I'm sure I can squeeze it in sometime here pretty soon. And they're short episodes and they were easy to watch the first season. So I'm sure I can squeeze it in.
I was gonna say, dude, it's fucking worth it. It's getting so good.
I know.
That's how my friend catches up on. He works, 12s and works a lot or whatever. But he does is he watches one episode per night at work on his break, and like next thing I know, he's been caught up on like after it comes on Netflix or whatever. Next thing I know, he's like, "Oh man, I just finished the season." I'm like, "Dude, you just started like a fucking week ago," and like, how the fuck, man?
Well,
Because he watches them at work.
I'm a big binger. Like I'll get home and I'll stay up for 5 hours and I'll watch Luke Cage in literally 2 days. So I mean, I'll do a lot in my days off. I didn't stream last week. It's mostly because I was watching Luke Cage. So yeah, I'll make time for the really big ones, and like I'll try to, but it's hard for me to do anything at work because, my breaks I get the 15-minute breaks, but by the time I walk out to my car, it's not really any time to do anything. And when I go to lunch, I come home and I take a shower because it's hot. It's like 150. I unload trucks. It's 115 degrees in those trucks. So I get home from lunch and I hop in the shower. But one thing that I do is we've got our bedroom is attached to our bathroom, so I can turn on the TV in there and I can watch it. So I guess I could try to see if that Crunchyroll thing is on our.
Yeah, it's BRB, not Crunchyroll. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, well, we've got a. Which one is it? It's not the Fire Stick. It's not the Chromecast.
Roku.
Yeah, we've got the Roku, so maybe it's on that.
That's what I watch.
If it's on that. Okay, then it's on there. So I'll put it on that, and I'll be able to watch it in there when I come home on my lunch breaks and take a shower. Because usually I just throw something on that really doesn't matter. I'll be honest. Usually I throw on Law and Order or something. Just something to have on. That's been my go-to when I have to put something on that I don't have to pay attention to. It's Law and Order.
Law and Order's on all the time, no matter what time of day it is. There's a channel with Law and Order on, bro.
Well, I don't have channels. I don't have any
I know. I'm
channels
just saying,
whatsoever.
like it's on somewhere at all.
It is
all the time, like, no matter where. In the criminal justice system.
Broadcast emergency.
It's a decent show, though. I actually like Law and Order.
Well, here's the thing about Law and Order is like you never know what you're gonna see, like because now it's so old and there's been so many episodes that you'll be watching and somebody super famous will be in there when they're like a kid or something. You're like, holy, that's I was like, what the hell? The other day I was watching and like Rainn Wilson was on one. On an episode of Law and Order SVU. He wasn't even like a suspect or anything. He was just like a neighbor that they interviewed in a case, and he's like, he's like a janitor or something. So
what's really funny about that show is back in the Law and Order SVU, the old attorney, that redheaded attorney they had for a long time. Yeah. She was actually on an episode long before that she was a villain, and all of a sudden she comes back.
Oh yeah, there'll be people as multiple a good guy 1 year, and then come back 4 years later they play a rapist or something.
It's like that.
It's the same person.
Too great. It's a
good show all the time. I don't mind. I used to hate on it when I was a kid because like what old people watch to me. But I guess now that I'm old people, I'm like, man, this is kind of good TV here. Man. The
And
one
now
thing
they
I
did
don't
do
like is
on
like
based on
SVU, like it'll end on some like shitty notes sometime. Like
yeah, because
it'll
make
end
it more
like, and you'll be
realistic.
like, man, you're supposed to be a show. I'm supposed to walk away from the show feeling good. I feel like, I feel
Yeah,
bad. Like I watched one the other day and like they sent like this 10-year-old kid to jail and you're like, but it wasn't really his fault. They sent him to jail
yeah.
for life and he was like kind of retarded. And he's like,
Or the
he's
episodes
screaming
where
and I was like, come
the
on, man.
or the episodes where the people get away with it, and
Yeah,
you're
and
like,
they let him get away.
it just goes off, and you're like, the fuck just happened, bro? Like,
Yeah,
all
it just
right,
the last thing it always shows, it fades out and it goes Dick Wolf.
yeah.
Every episode ends Dick Wolf.
It's like motherfucker, man. I get what they're doing though, because it's more realistic that way. Because not everybody gets, it
Yeah,
does.
yeah. I get it. You can't always have a happy ending, and usually they bring it back in a later episode or something like that, or they refer to it.
Yeah,
But you know, but yeah, that's my definitely always go to when I'm not if I can't pay attention to something. You can always have it on. You can look up at the end, or you can gather what happens by the ending usually without having to watch any of the rest.
yeah. Just hearing pieces
Yeah,
here and
and
there.
you look, oh, that guy was guilty. He did it. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing lately. But I will check out, excuse me, My Hero Academia.
Hell
That
yeah.
looks interesting.
I think we're going to call this episode Podcast Royale Crossplay SVU, the Netflix original.
You know it. Well, Thomas sent a message earlier talking about Quinn and something, and that he could come now. And I invited him twice, but he never showed up. So where you at,
Really?
Thomas? Too late. You're too late. What
Yeah.
I was gonna do is as soon as he came in the podcast and started saying hi and stuff, I'd be like, "Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for coming by. We'll see you next time." And we were gonna end, but he
Be
didn't
like
show
that
up.
Jimmy
So
Kimmel. Sorry, but we didn't
the
have any
Matt Damon,
time.
yeah. Yeah, sorry, we didn't have any more time to have Thomas on the podcast. But see you guys. That was going to be amazing, but again, Thomas ruins even that. So Thomas, you're fired. So fired.
I'm leading you out of the group right now.
Yeah, banned, perma ban. But yeah, as far as what I've got, I don't really have anything else to add. If you guys do, feel free to throw it in now, or we can call it a podcast.
I think it went pretty well.
All right, guys. Well, I'll catch you next Monday around the same time. We'll try to get it going at 4 o'clock here next time, but we had a little issues this time. But next time it'll be hopefully right on time, and we'll have some more stuff to talk about. Catch you guys next time.